And I think one of the main problems is that we've connected the end of the occupation to the end of the conflict. In a way, we created a reality where the occupation, the status quo of military control over the Palestinian people is accepted until there is going to be a final status agreement. And I think the one thing that we need to change first of all is this concept. Is first of all to come from, one thing, there is peace. Peace is one thing, far away, we might not be able to achieve in the next 20 years. The question is about whether we're allowed to do what we're doing today. The question is whether separation policy is implemented in the West Bank, okay, whether this is something allowed, morally. The question is whether having the settlements, almost 500,000 settlers in the occupied territories, is that moral? Is that legal? Like, I think that once we will start to ask these questions, it will probably take us on the right road. For us in Breaking the Silence, we always say we don't even talk with the military. We don't think the military is a problem. We talk with society. The way I understand democracy is that the government is an arm of the people, the military is an arm of the government. That means the military is our arm as a society. That means we are responsible for what the military is doing. We are responsible for what's going on in the occupied territories. We are the people that need to be confronted with it, and we need to take responsibility for it. I don't think that the problem is the military.
How open is the society to such kind of proposals?
Look, it is important to say, and especially for foreign audiences, that silence is not an Israeli disease. It's a human sickness. We didn't invent it. We're not the first society to be infected by silence, and sadly enough, we're not the last society to be infected by silence. If you don't look good, you don't spend too many hours a day in front of the mirror. And as human beings, it's very much our nature that we find it easy to look through a window at someone else. We find it very difficult to paint one side dark and face a mirror. So in a way, what Breaking the Silence is doing is fighting our nature as human beings. It's sitting down around the table and spoiling the party. It's Friday night dinner with the family and then holding up, this is who I am, this is what I did. And especially because we're so involved, because we have a draft, because everybody knows someone who served there, because, we have to be even more silent. Because what mother wants to know that her son has done what I did? What, you'll come back home and say, hey, Mommy, these are 2 Palestinians we killed last night. Cool? Mommy doesn't want to see it. Because she knows Yehuda, and Yehuda cannot do these things. My Yehuda? No. But yes. Because, you can't be there and see Palestinians as equal human beings to you.
Why?
For someone equal like me, look, from where you come? Athens, okay? Maybe in Athens it works this way, but not in Jerusalem, okay? I've never bumped into families 2 o'clock in the middle of the night, into the house, woke them up and tear apart the place. I've never done it in Jerusalem. Maybe the police in Athens does this, I assume not. But that's what I did in Hebron 24/7. The military concept is that if the Palestinians will get the feeling that you're all the time everywhere, they'll be afraid to attack. So what do you do to give them this feeling? You make your presence felt. What does it mean? Start your night shift patrol, 10 o'clock till 6 o'clock in the morning, walk in the old city of Hebron, bump into a house. It's not a house we have intelligence about. I'm the sergeant, I choose the house, randomly house, bump into the house, wake up the family, men on one side, women the other side, search the place, finish. Can yourself imagine how it looks like? Go out, throw some stun grenades, do some noise, knock on some doors, run to the other corner of the street, invade another house, finish this one, run to the other corner of the old city, invade another house, and that's how you pass your 8-hour shift. People, if they got some sleep, they wake up in the morning, they know the army was here, right? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 10 years nonstop. 2 different patrols, day and night in Hebron, until today. Do it. You know, there was actually even a barracks of a platoon, around 30 soldiers who stay in, which is in the Palestinian-controlled side of the city in Hebron, where the IDF sits today. That as for December 2007, the stated mission of the barracks was to disrupt the day-to-day routine of people living in the neighborhood. Randomly houses, randomly checkpoints, randomly people in the streets, randomly shops, yeah? Bumping in, checking people, searching people, right? Now, this is not that I do, 8 hours a shift in the sun, I freak out, lose controls. That's my mission. This is where I start. You think I can actually see them as equal human beings to me? After this is my mission towards them?
2 more questions from my side. The first one, after what you described, after you came to the decision, after you took the decision to establish this organization, did you try to visit the area again of Hebron?
Of course. One of the things we do in Breaking the Silence is we take people to guided tours to Hebron. We conduct around, I would say, 200 tours a year. Thousands of mainly Israelis and mainly youth before the army, to try to bring them to encounter a different narrative, a different story of what they're going to be involved in. We don't tell them what to do. We're not a pacifist organization, we're not a refusing organization, we're not. But we believe people need to be confronted with the reality. That's a different story. We believe people need to understand that if they think that they're going to be there and they're going to be good guys, it just doesn't work. In a way, this is what brings people to Breaking the Silence. It's not that we share the same political vision, we don't vote for the same party. We all believe that we're the good guys, and we can go there and behave nice, and we are the bubble to burst. And in a way, this is our struggle. Look, in Breaking the Silence, we don't have any illusions. We're not going to change the way the army behaves. Because in a way, the army cannot change its behavior. The army gets an order, be an occupation force. And it's doomed to be an occupation force in a way. It's doomed to behave like occupiers. And all these things that I've said, that's what the army is supposed to do according to the orders given from civil society. It is the easy way out to blame the settlers, to blame the army, to blame this, to blame that. No, it's us. We, the society. The people who prefer to sit down in a coffee shop, especially in these days. Look, Israelis today don't even have a reason to try to solve the problems, to try to solve this conflict. The world is in an economic crisis. We're doing quite well. Been a while since there were lethal terror attacks in this place. Not that I wish they would be, no, God forbid. But life is very comfortable today in West Jerusalem. We don't see, we don't hear. Nothing bothers us. Probably in 2002, during the height of the second indifada, Israelis had more interest to try to solve this conflict than today. And in a way, what we're trying to do is coming back home to people and say, truth is, we do have a huge interest to try to end this. Because this is what we're doing there. This is what our sons and daughters are doing. This is how we behave. This is how we grew up in our society. Think of it, 43 years already, 2/3 of the time that this country exists. This is how people grew up here, being occupiers.